What is the Canon PowerShot G5X? The Canon PowerShot G5X is an advanced compact camera, one that does its best to give you something approaching the shooting experience and image quality of a DSLR in a much smaller body. If you like the idea of a 1-inch sensor compact like the Sony RX104 but want much more control, the Canon PowerShot G5X is a good bet. It's also great fun to shoot with, particularly if you're more of an enthusiast photographer than a point-and-shooter. The limited autofocus reliability and raw shooting performance mean the Canon PowerShot G5X doesn't suddenly skyrocket to become our favorite 1-inch sensor compact for all situations. But it's up there. Canon PowerShot G5X, Design and Handling. We've looked at a couple of cameras in this Canon family to date, the G7X and G9X. This is a new bigger brother to those cameras. The numbers may suggest it sits below them, it doesn't. You gain a bit of bulk, but also get a really satisfying sense of control over what the camera's doing. And if you're not too bothered about that, the Canon PowerShot G5X's contours give you a much surer, more comfortable grip than a lot of compacts. For a bit of real-world context, I've been stashing the Canon PowerShot G5X in a coat pocket when I'm not using it. This is pretty convenient in those wintry months, but it's just too big for trouser pockets. Cameras like the Canon G9X and Sony RX104 can fit really quite comfortably in a lot of pockets. This isn't an issue as such, just a design decision. The size lets Canon fit in chunky rubbery grips on both the front and back of the Canon PowerShot G5X. You might also like images.outbrain.com web link. Panasonic GX800 review. Panasonic GX800 review. Trusted reviews. Images.outbrain.com web link. Xbox One S vs Xbox One, is it worth the upgrade? Xbox One S vs Xbox One, is it worth the trusted reviews? Images.outbrain.com web link. Best Camera 2017, 15 Best Cameras You Can Buy. Best Camera 2017, 15 Best Cameras You Can Buy. Trusted reviews. Images.outbrain.com web link. Camera, battery life, and verdict review. Camera, battery life, and verdict review. Trusted reviews. Images.outbrain.com web link. Game of Thrones cast looks better out of costume, gallery. Game of Thrones cast looks better out of costume. OMG. Images.outbrain.com web link. 9-year-old applies for job at NASA, the response is priceless. 9-year-old applies for job at NASA, the response is Facebook. Images.outbrain.com web link. How Facebook changed the way we see pixels. How Facebook changed the way we see pixels. Facebook code. Images.outbrain.com web link. This app has transformed reading for 2 million people. This app has transformed reading for Blinkist app. Byte. A top-down look at the camera also tells you all you need to know about the sort of control you get here. There's a lot, and just as important, the controls are well laid out, making sure not to cram too many dials next to each other, or make them too tiny. Taking a closer look, the traditional mode dial is here, but, as in higher-end DSLRs, it has been moved over to the left side rather than the right. This is so the exposure dial has plenty of room on the right side. Canon hasn't tried to squeeze any other control dials up here either. There's an unusual-looking deep dial on the front, and the lens has a dial on it too. There are lots of controls, and they're spread pretty evenly around the Canon PowerShot G5X so that while it's still a fairly petite thing, operating it doesn't feel cramped. Canon PowerShot G5X, Screen and EVF. This same kind of thinking has gone into the EVF, where a lot of smaller cameras tend to shift the EVF to one side in order to avoid adding much bulk. The Canon PowerShot G5X keeps it right in the middle, also where you'll find a pop-up flash. As a result, you end up with that big pillar in the camera's center, looking a bit like a shrunk-down DSLR silhouette. It makes the camera bigger, sure, but I found keeping it in the center simply feels better. The EVF doesn't come across as something squeezed in and, more so than most rivals, I've used it to compose shots more than the rear display. It quickly became my go-to composing tool. It's a good quality EVF too, with the now standard resolution of 2.36 million dots and an OLED type panel. This ensures